Hi everyone, let me invite you for coffee into the social CRM house. But before we enter, let's get some concepts straight first. So what is CRM? CRM is a strategy for managing all the relationships and interactions between a company and its customers, and also potential customers. CRM helps to improve the profitability of a company and stretches over the entire customer life cycle. It contains relationship initiation, which is the acquisition of new customers. It also includes their maintenance, which is the retention of customers, right through to the termination of customers. Either they terminate the relationship to a company themselves, or the company decides they no longer want to be supplying the customer with their products and services. So now we know what CRM is, which basically the customer relationship strategies. But what actually is social CRM? Well, the term social CRM comes from Paul Greenberg, who is a digital executive and author. Essentially, it's a part of the CRM strategy, where companies use social media to engage and communicate with their customers, such as Facebook and Twitter. And it's not just with the aim to make money, but also to add value for both the business and the customer. Now we understand the concepts, let me give you a brief overview of what the research I'm presenting is about. First, the article discusses how CRM strategies need to adapt to the rise of social media. And since there are so many different aspects of social media, the authors developed the so-called social CRM house to make it easier to understand. So what is the social CRM house? The social CRM house is a framework to help businesses understand how social media and the different levels of customers' engagement affect traditional CRM strategies. The research looks at the different perspectives of social CRM and also identifies opportunities and pitfalls. It also provides examples of how CRM has changed with the rise of social media and discusses what companies can and should do to adapt their CRM strategies to effectively manage this shift. Last but not least, the researchers also describe the current problems and challenges of the social CRM landscape. So let's have a look at those. The main challenge is that customers have changed. They are no longer passive, and traditional CRM strategies are no longer sufficient to manage the relationships with this new kind of customer. Customers send now messages to their network, and these messages can no longer be controlled by the companies. With social CRM, customers have way more power to restrict the messages they receive, and therefore directly impact on the customer lifecycle. So the authors propose that old strategies are no longer sufficient to manage these challenges. Let's have a look at some examples. One example is that new content and communication strategies should be developed, because traditionally, let's say a customer received a newsletter in the mail, the newsletter got delivered, the customer took it out of the mailbox, and it had a chance to be seen, even if the customer threw it in the bin right away. But now with social media, they can just block Facebook posts, for example, from a company and never even see the message that the company crafted for them. So that's one challenge. And then also the measurement of the actual CRM success is another challenge, because most companies, they measure the value of social elements, such as the value of customer influence and referrals, but based on perception and not return on investment. And also, they often don't even have key performance indicators that are well defined. So how would they know what they measure if they haven't defined it first? Another pitfall is the potential lack of human resources, because all these massive amounts of data, in order to get meaningful insights, they need to be analyzed, which is a challenge for companies. But without the analytics of the state data, how can they measure the value? And also, it requires extensive IT support, because the data needs to be stored and adequately managed. So how do companies deal with this new kind of customers? And how do they best measure social CRM success? And how do they close the skills gap to be able to measure performance? Well, we will get some answers to these questions later. Let's now have a look at how the authors attempt to help resolve these problems. The authors reviewed different literature to try and understand social CRM and its impact. They reviewed articles from two categories. The first category looks at the effects of social CRM in the context of traditional CRM problems and activities, and the second category looks at analytical research and case studies to determine the monetary consequences of social interaction, such as word of mouth, also known as social value. Sounds all pretty complicated, right? Well, that's why the authors came up with the Social CRM House framework. Bear with me and let's build a social CRM house together to make sense of all these building blocks. Let's start with the core of the house and have a look how the different levels of customer engagement affect the customer lifecycle. So first, there are the customers with low engagement levels. They are active on social media, but do not seriously affect marketing strategies to acquire or retain other customers, because they are more consumers of content and not really actively spreading the word. For example, they might like a post or page or share content that was created by the company. These activities at the lower engagement levels, they may help increase awareness, but the acquisition of new customers still mainly the company's business. High level of engagement on the other side is where customers actively create their own content, for example, writing product reviews on Facebook or a blog. They directly affect the acquisition and retention of customers, and companies have no longer control over what messages are distributed, which also means that companies can no longer distinguish between the acquisition and retention of customers, because they cannot control who sees that user-generated content. Let me explain on an example from my own life. When I receive good service at a restaurant, I might post a positive review on Facebook page. So this in return might help the restaurant acquire new customers because they see the positive review and might book a table. But it can also help retain existing customers. They may have thought of, leaving or trying a new restaurant, but then they continuously read good reviews about this kind of restaurant and they keep going back. And my review can also change the opinion of other people about the restaurants, which on the other hand means that these social media activities at the higher level of engagement can also affect that customers terminate the relationship to a company. For example, if I write a negative review, existing customers can decide not going back to that restaurant. However, these different levels of engagement also pose different opportunities, but also challenges. So let's first look at the benefits. One benefit is that companies can use the power of customers. For example, when they are sharing content that goes viral, which could even turn bad publicity into something good and increases awareness. And companies can also use social media to strategically target customers with high value, either financially or social. For example, they may directly target customers with many social contacts to increase their reach. And the ability to use social media and its derived insights might look at first like a lot of work, but it could in the long run improve the overall satisfaction, loyalty, and profitability of customers. And companies are able to target customers with more relevant offers, which means if the offer is more relevant, then customers are more likely to actually buy the product or service. And social media also helps companies to maintain customer relationships through connecting with their customers across different channels, for example, Facebook or Twitter or Instagram. And these various channels also now give access to customers where companies previously did not have access to. For example, in a fast-moving consumer goods industry, something like Nestle or Watties, they actually don't know their end customers because their products are sold via distribution. So you can get them in the supermarket or petrol station, but often you can't buy them directly from these companies. But now they can use social media to strengthen their brand, create awareness, and also target customers. And before social media, they didn't even know who their customers were or how to even approach them. Social media also helps companies to develop the retention campaigns that could so-called ripple effects that could be created and potentially prevent others from leaving. So, for example, when I was tempted to leave my mobile phone provider, I saw a new offer for existing customers, which was much better than my current contract. So if the mobile phone company provides me the same conditions as new customers, I might actually think about staying, which in return creates this ripple effect that others might stay as well. And social media also helps with decision making. For example, if companies want to part from a certain customer because they don't see the customer generating value, like a customer who you send a mail ordering catalog every 6 months, but actually never orders something. However, now companies can look at these customers and their social media activities and reassess the value of this customer. So only because that customer doesn't order anything from the catalog, he or she might still share all the company's posts, write positive reviews, and actively engage and help the brand, market itself. So although that customer doesn't generate financial revenue themselves, they might generate revenue in terms of spreading the word and engaging with other customers that potentially buy products from that company. So the company might decide to still send that catalog every 6 months, although there's no direct financial revenue. But as always, there are many challenges that businesses have to overcome. For example, the power of the customer is also a negative effect of social media because companies lose control over what is being said about them. And it's difficult for them to part from customers with high engagement levels because they are generally more vocal and they could spread word of mouth in a negative way, which may lead to losing customers and in the worst case could even spark some sort of boycott. So companies have to carefully think about who they part from and who they let stay a customer. And also they should rethink their offers for new and existing customers. Because like in my example with the mobile phone contract, if they provide better conditions for existing customers, they may actually prevent them from leaving. Let's move on to the foundation of the house. There are two parts: data and information and technology, and understanding customers and deriving insights. Let's start with data and IT, which is the foundation of understanding customers because it empowers businesses to derive insights, which can then help identify opportunities and making decisions. So rather than making decisions based on feelings, businesses can make informed decisions based on actual data. For example, social media data such as comments on a product posting could be used to test the appetite of a market for a certain product. So prior to manufacturing thousands of products that you don't sell, you could first test it out. And then social media allows companies to tap into new sources of customer data. So they don't just get the data about their customers, but also about the network of their customers, so the other social contacts. For example, prior to social media, companies had to conduct surveys or collect data from store loyalty cards. But with social media, data is now freely available, and even data about the network of a customer. So this further increases a company's reach. As you can see, data and its derived insights are a valuable asset for any business. But it's not easy to get that highly desired insights about customers. Let me tell you why. Social CRM highly depends on people using social media, not just consuming content, but interacting with each other. So companies have to understand how to manage all this data and to derive these insights. But these massive amounts of mainly unstructured data, such as text, images, and videos, which social media generates, create many challenges, such as data privacy, data quality, and data management. So let's first look at data management. So just like customers, data also has a life cycle. Companies need to collect it, store it, aggregate, and analyze it. and then share it with relevant parties, archive it, and at some stage delete it. So companies might need to improve their systems to manage these life cycles and achieve the ultimate goal, customer insights. For example, to understand the unstructured data, companies could use machine learning and natural language processing to analyze text comments, which can then give insights into customer behaviors, such as how they use a product. But the derived insight could also lead to ideas for new products or product improvements. So data can also help analyze customers' feelings. For example, text data could be searched for keywords such as not satisfied or unhappy to identify how a customer feels about a company or product. However, even if the right systems are in place, as soon as external conditions change, the applied logic behind these systems may quickly be outdated. For example, as soon as Facebook implements a new feature, let's say allowing voice comments, but a company currently only captures and analyzes text comments, this data remains unused and the company might miss out on identifying important trends and consequently making money. Using the right tools for data management does not only create opportunities, but it also helps companies achieve a competitive advantage. In terms of data quality, companies need to consider that the data from social media is not a full representation of the market. For example, only because 5 customers complain about a product on Facebook doesn't mean the rest of the customers is also unhappy or has problems. And another point to keep in mind is that customers using social media are also often biased by others because people get influenced by other people's opinions. But even if companies have the right systems and high quality data, it's still a challenge to summarize this data in a less detailed view. So to clearly communicate the insights to other stakeholders and actually understand the data. And last but not least, companies need to ensure that customer data is safe, which is a massive challenge. Let me show you on an example. Deriving social CRM insights often requires different data sources to be linked, which creates issues because customers in general only allow data to be used for a certain purpose. And by linking this data, the data may be processed in a way that the customer didn't agree to. For example, a customer's profile image may be linked to a dating site. On the flip side, when customers trust companies with their data and they feel the data is safe with the company, this might actually strengthen the relationship between the customer and the company. We have looked at the core and the foundation of the social CRM house. But every house needs a roof, which in this framework stands for social CRM strategy. The authors in the paper mainly refer to social CRM strategy. However, I think that under this roof, businesses should also ask themselves strategic questions, not only related to social CRM, but also how social CRM actually builds on the overall business goals. This is to ensure that social CRM strategies are aligned to the overall business strategy and fully support a company achieving its strategic goals. To reflect this, I added an extra layer to the roof called business strategy. The most important strategic questions for companies is, how do we measure value? The paper introduces the concept of value fusion, which is a win-win situation for both customer and company. They suggest that social CRM should consider multiple forms of value. Let's illustrate on an example. A ticket company I might like on Facebook invite me to a concert of a band I previously liked on Facebook. So this might add value to me, the customer, because knowing that the band is playing nearby helps me get tickets in time, and the promotion is relevant to me and I actually appreciate it. For the company, it might be of value because I might buy tickets through them and continue to buy my tickets through them, increasing my customer lifetime value, which is the amount of revenue a customer generates over time. Or maybe I also tell my friends about the event and I share it with them on WhatsApp or Facebook, which creates customer referral value, which is the value that derives from word of mouth. And I might even actually share and promote the event actively in my social network, which is called the customer influence effect or value. That is the impact a customer has on other customers to buy something and the monetary value of the transaction. So the social CRM house is not quite complete yet. Two pillars are missing: organizing people and measuring outcomes. So let's first look at the number one asset of any company: people. The authors argue that companies need to transform the mindset of employees to live and breathe social media, basically creating an empowering culture. Employee skills are another important aspect because only skilled people can lead a company to operational excellence, and unskilled or insufficient human resources can leave data unprocessed and companies miss out on opportunities. In worst case, the data is even misinterpreted or misused, which could lead to a loss of customers and revenues. And without the right people, structures, and processes in place, any strategy will fail. So making social media an inclusive part of a company, getting away from silo mentalities, and continuously improving processes can lead a company to achieve operational excellence and achieve a competitive advantage. Since I'm already over time, I will cut this pillar short. The authors propose to develop key performance indicators and measure performance in four areas, which are social CRM strategy, people, CRM processes, and data and information technology. Because if you don't define KPIs and measure their performance, how will you know what the value of your social CRM activities is? So great job, we've built the social CRM house. So now let's do a post-build analysis to see what the results are. So what can businesses do to make the most out of social CRM and deal with the challenges of the rapidly developing social media landscape? First, they need the right strategies. Companies can use the author's social CRM framework to formulate its social CRM strategy. The goal should not be to only maximize the customer lifetime value, but to evolve traditional CRM to achieve the concept of value fusion, which is the value for the customer and the company. And to be successful, companies need to adjust their marketing and hiring strategies, learn to ask the right questions, have the right people, processes, and systems in place to create contact points and engage with their customers. They also need to put social media on their return on investment statistics, because currently companies struggle to measure the monetary value of their social CRM efforts. And there's also a lack of scientific research in this area, according to the authors. Companies and researchers need to also fully recognize and understand the challenges to effectively deal with them. For example, insights from social media should be validated with additional research. Privacy issues increase with the collection of more and more data. And companies need to make sure they actively collect, analyze, and monitor their data and the market so they can quickly act to results and make informed decisions. But just as addressing challenges, companies also need to watch out for opportunities, such as the development of data management and analytics software to deal with the massive amounts of data, and also the lack of adequate human resources in the field of social CRM and data analytics could create a chance to create new education and training programs. I believe overall the social CRM house is a great framework to help businesses navigate social CRM and deal with the challenges and develop their CRM strategies. But a framework in the end is just a foundation, and companies still need to have the right mindset and culture to achieve success. And also, a framework is not eternal. So, as environment changes, the framework may also need to be adapted to stay up to date. And I also believe that due to the speed of social media, companies should not be too restricted in their approach and stay agile and quickly adapt to changes and foster innovation. I hope you enjoyed the presentation about the Social CRM House framework and know some more about Social CRM now. Since I can't answer your questions live, feel free to post them in the Moodle discussion forum and I will answer as soon as I can. I'm also happy to hear from you with feedback about my presentation. And as promised, and since you can't fly over to Germany for that coffee, here's a virtual coffee for you. Thanks for watching my presentation. Have a great day.